Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are going to be diving deep into something, well, kind of different.
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to be looking at one of the Psalms
okay.
from the book of Psalms, Psalm 5. And, this might seem a little out there for our usual deep dives,
Right.
but these Psalms were like songs and prayers in ancient Jewish worship.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this one really got me thinking.
Mm.
It's all about dealing with injustice and how to find peace when you're surrounded by it.
Yeah,
Like, how do we even begin to process that? And it's crazy how these ancient texts can still feel so relevant today, right?
it really is. Even though they were written thousands of years ago, you can totally relate to the emotions, the struggles they're talking about.
Absolutely. And right from the beginning, Psalm 5 just hits you with this raw emotion.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my groaning." It's like you're overhearing someone just pouring their heart out in this
Yeah.
super intense moment.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right. So what do you think? What kind of situation do you think would lead someone to pray like this?
Well, a lot of the Psalms were actually written in response to some really tough stuff,
Like what?
like personal enemies, maybe political chaos, even natural disasters. But what's really fascinating is how they frame it all.
Yeah, how so?
Well, they call out to God as my king and my God, and they even talk about getting a sacrifice ready.
Hmm. It's not just like a casual, "Hey, help me out here." It feels way more formal.
Exactly. It's like they're going straight to the top, appealing to this higher power for justice to be served.
And then it gets even more intense. It draws this super stark line between good and evil. Evil may not dwell with you. You hate all evildoers.
Hmm.
It's like no gray areas, just pure black and white.
Just like their moral compass, it's guiding their actions and everything.
Absolutely. And this idea of righteousness versus wickedness,
Hmm.
it was like central to how they saw the world.
For sure. It wasn't just about personal opinions. It was about aligning yourself with this like cosmic order of things. But I can see how some people might look at it and say, hold on, isn't this a bit vengeful?
That's a great point. It definitely doesn't shy away from strong feelings, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's this definite sense of wanting to see those who did wrong held accountable.
Uh-huh.
But I also see it as this desperate plea for protection. "Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Spread your protection over them." It's like looking for safety when everything feels dangerous.
You're right. That really makes me think about how throughout history, when things get scary and uncertain, people have often turned to their faith for comfort.
Yeah.
And that image, that metaphor of God being like a shield, offering protection and guidance, it's powerful, it's timeless. It speaks to that deep human need to feel safe and secure.
No doubt. There's just something so universal about that longing for safety and protection. And then there's this other passage that really stood out to me. It says, "For there is no truth in their mouth, their inmost self is destruction, their throat is an open grave, they flatter with their tongue."
Whoa.
That is some serious straight talk.
Yeah.
You just don't hear that kind of bluntness every day.
No, not at all. It's such strong imagery.
I know, right?
And I think it really shows how much they valued honesty and having integrity.
Mhm.
To them, being deceitful was like this huge threat to their community, their whole relationship with God.
It's almost like a warning.
Yeah, like watch out. Lies and manipulation, they can really mess things up. And I think this is so relevant even now, especially with how fast misinformation can spread online and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Makes you think twice about how important it is to be truthful and how easily trust can be broken.
Totally.
But here's the thing. After all that intensity and heavy stuff, Psalm 5 ends on a really hopeful note.
Mm.
"But let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them ever sing for joy, and spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may exult in you."
Yeah, it's like a complete turnaround.
It is. What do you make of that?
Yeah. Well, I think it shows how powerful faith can be, Even when things are tough, even when you're struggling, the psalmist still finds this hope and joy in their belief.
It's inspiring, in a way.
Yeah, it's like this reminder that even when you're surrounded by darkness, you can still choose to focus on the light.
So, for someone listening who might not be super familiar with ancient poetry or religious texts, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from Psalm 5?
That's a good question. I think it gives us this glimpse into something that's been going on for centuries. The human experience of dealing with injustice, looking for safety, and finding hope even when facing really hard times.
And no matter what you believe personally, I think this psalm really pushes you to think about where you find your own comfort and strength when you're going through challenges.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive today.
Anytime.
It just goes to show that even writings from thousands of years ago can teach us so much about what it means to be human. I think that's something worth pondering on. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.